This video will cover how to use the Unfiled Questions repository to create a new question bank. If, over the course of the semester, you have created a series of brand new tests with questions painstakingly hand-typed into Canvas, you might be wondering whether you can reuse some of those questions without having to retype them into the final exam. Looking at your test questions, you may have noticed that there doesn't seem to be a way to copy questions directly from one test to another. And you're right. For that, we'll need question banks. On the quizz's index page over on the right-hand side, click on the 3 vertical dots and choose the option Manage Question Banks. And here they are. Let's take a quick peek at the question banks in a different course. If your course was copied from a different instructor in a different semester, you may have more question banks than you ever imagined. Some may be imported from the publisher, perhaps some were created by your department. You may find these helpful or you may not. Your questions are not here. To find the questions that you created, scroll all the way to the bottom. If you created your quizzes without the foresight to create question banks beforehand, this is where your questions live. When you click into the bank, you will see the questions that you created when you wrote the quizzes. To move them into a question bank specific to each quiz, click on the link at the bottom right of the question. This brings up a pop-up window where you can choose which bank to move the question into. You can also choose to keep a copy of the question in the original bank, or not. When you have moved all questions from the first quiz into their new question bank home, you probably want to create a bank for the next quiz. From the question bank's index page, click the button Add Question Bank. Create a title for the new bank, and then continue to move questions from the Unfiled Questions bank into their new homes. You can change the name of the unfiled question banks to something more useful and descriptive. Then, when you create your next quiz, the new questions will appear in a new Unfiled Questions bank. When you create your new questions, thinking ahead to your question banks is where the question names come into play. While they do not appear on any quiz, the names or titles of the questions will appear in the question bank list. If you think you might want to find specific questions to include on a later exam, perhaps the final exam, a descriptive name will be more useful to you than a bank full of questions simply called question. Perhaps it could be something as simple as which chapter the question comes from. When we save the new quiz and navigate to the question bank index, we see that we have a new Unfiled Questions bank. In that bank, we find the questions we just created. If we like, we can change the name of the bank to match up with the name of the new quiz.